Hi everyone, and welcome again to another episode of the CTO Lunch. This is our third episode. I'm here with Tomás Piaggio, and for the ones that are seeing the podcast for the first time, this is a place for sharing experiences. The idea is to interview different CTOs around the globe and try to share experiences regarding technology, products that we are making. So yeah, here we have a special guest that his name is Tomás.
And thank you so much, Jan, for inviting me. It's a pleasure. I think we've known each other for many years now, since the university, right? We met each other at Universidad Ort, and we've been working in the same industry with the same technologies for many years now. I think over 5 years, if I'm not mistaken. So it's always a pleasure to share the stage with you. And happy to be joining this CTO Lounge. So for those who don't know me, just a quick intro. Don't want to bore anybody, but I'm Tomás. I'm a software engineer. I've been working in the software engineering space and software development space for the past 12 years or so. I graduated from a 5-year degree at Universidad Ort here in Uruguay of software engineering, and then I started working. My journeys began as a software developer. I had the opportunity to work at Amazon as a web developer, and then I started a company called Create Thrive, which became part of Very Good Ventures almost 3 years ago now. And last year, I decided to start a new business again. This time, a product, not a service business, and the product is called Centinel. So I'm the CTO and co-founder at Centinel. We're a small startup, and we do AI accounting. And that's pretty much in a nutshell who I am. I'm also part of the GDE program, or Google Developer Expert program, and a lot of involvement in different Google technologies and Google communities and events as well.
Awesome. Well, it was going to be one of my first questions, but I think that was a really nice summary of your experience. So yeah, I think that one of my first questions was regarding your experience, right? But you already summarized really well. I think that maybe you can also talk about what you are doing in the new company called Centinel, and what is maybe the difference that you notice working on a product company versus working like as an adapt shop or a service company. Like, what are the challenges that you face in this new phase, right?
No, yeah, absolutely. I think there are a lot of similarities and also a lot of differences, depending on how you see it. When I started Create Thrive in 2018, we started as a dev shop, like something really similar to what Somnio does, right? And as a CTO, you are in charge of setting up the technologies, the processes, the foundations and the backbones of every project that you start from scratch. Obviously, that changes sometimes, because when you do staff augmentation, you need to adapt to your client's tech stack. But when there's a client that comes and asks you to build an app from scratch, then as a CTO, you make sure that you're using your own best practices, your own coding standards, the libraries that you already know that work well, the architecture that you're already familiar with or your team is already familiar with, and that's for every project. So you have a lot of different opportunities to start projects from scratch and learn from those projects. I would say that in a product company like Centinel, you start the project once, right? And you set up the foundations once, and then you start building on top of that projects. And I would say that one of the main differences, obviously, focusing on one project only instead of many different projects at the same time. I imagine Somnio having maybe 10, maybe 20, maybe even more projects that are being developed simultaneously, which is obviously a challenge. Focusing on one product only doesn't make it easier per se. It makes it different. Your focus is on one technology, your focus is on one problem, and your focus is on one solution to those problems. Obviously, then you can think about the product being different modules inside one project. Centinel, for instance, we have one product that has many modules. Each module solves one specific problem. So it's not like we have one solution for everything. We have different solutions for different problems, but it's still all within one product only. But yeah, I mean, I would say that it's different in the way that a service company or a dev shop, you need to sell hours, you need to sell development services. With a product, you need to sell licenses. Sentinel is a SaaS product, right? So our customers are not looking for development hours; they're looking for a solution that they can purchase license to and they can use. So you need to think about like a multi-tenant architecture. You need to think about one product being used by many different companies. So you need to think a lot about different things like security, like privacy and whatnot. And obviously, you know, performance is always important. Scalability is always important for every product that you build. So obviously there are many things that are going to be similar, but there are also some nuances and some differences that makes it really fun and challenging. And obviously I was not a CTO of a product company before, so this is also new to me. I've been in this company for 9 months only, so I'm learning a lot as well.
I imagine that all of the projects that you were part in adaptation could also give you some more insights regarding what it feels like make a product, and maybe you're applying those those learnings into this new company, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. You're still building a product no matter what. Whether you're in a dev shop or whether you're in a product company, you're still building software. So that doesn't change. And the fact that I built so many different products over the years with Create Thrive as a dev shop definitely made me and the rest of my team more experienced when it comes to software development and building products. So there's no question with the fact that I obviously, took all of those experiences and, used them when building Sentinel from scratch.
Right. And I imagine, because this is something that also happened to us, as a dev shop, we are running like more than 20 projects in parallel, and every project is different, although like there are common things. I think that one of the challenges also for our customers is to understand that there is also a side where they need to put different like budget to marketing, for example, and not only to building the whole product. Maybe in Sentinel this time you also have more visibility on all the stack regarding like as a company, like where are you investing like the budget, not only like building the product but marketing and maybe that side of the product, right?
Yeah, totally. You're absolutely right. When clients hire a dev shop, they try to either outsource some of their development needs or they try to augment their team with more developers that they don't have in-house. So most of the time, I would say from my personal experience, you only get visibility on the technological needs, and you only get visibility on the requirements of the product that you're trying to build. Clients, they don't necessarily need to, or they're not necessarily willing to share other needs, marketing, sales, customer success, whatever it is, to their outsourcing partners, especially when it comes to development. Being on the other side, and being now inside a product company, obviously as a founder, as a co-founder, I have visibility in on every aspect of the company, on every need that the company has. I have two co-founders. One is the CEO and one is the COO. And obviously, it's very natural for us to split responsibilities. And I'm responsible of building the product, and they're not responsible for making sure the code is well maintained, that it's scalable and secure. That's my responsibility. But having said that, we're a team, and me and my co-founders speak every day, and I know what they're doing, and they're more focused on the go-to-market strategy. They're more focused on customer success. They will be more focused on the sales, marketing, etc. But still, that is something that interests me a lot, and I like to have visibility, and I like to be able to weigh in and be able to make sure I help on those areas as well if needed.
Of course, yeah. I mean, I think like it's equally important to like know how to market your product, because if not, yeah, no one can notice the great product that you're building. So yeah, I think that that's really cool that you're navigating this new company and being part of the product. So one of the questions that I would like to ask you is, how do you feel regarding, because in your position you are also responsible for a team, right? So basically you are no longer someone that just code the platform as a developer, but also you manage the whole team. So what are the like learnings that you can share with the audience regarding that, regarding being responsible of the team, especially maybe in this new company that you are working, right?
Sure. So the team is the most important thing, right? And I feel like I'm not gonna say lucky, but I'm gonna say I'm in a privileged position because of the network that I've built over the years, the amount of people that I know, and the fact that I know a lot of different developers of different backgrounds, of different areas, makes it very easy to build a very strong team. I think that one of the keys to building a successful product is making sure that you have a competent team. I wouldn't be able to build all of what we're building all by myself. So I need to delegate, and I need to work with a team that can own the product as much as I own it. As I said before a few minutes ago, Centinel is made up of different modules that work under the same umbrella and under the same product, right? So we've assembled a team that makes it so that each developer is in one way or another owner of their own module. Obviously, we've been able to hire a very strong team, a senior team of people that have experience, have ownership, and as we like to say in English, there's not a direct translation in Spanish, but have agency, right? They can work by themselves. They're independent.
Right.
And they're reliable. So all of that is very important for us, even though we're a team, and even though discussions always happen across the team in terms of what's the best way to implement this solution, what's the best way to implement this other solution. So it's not that like we're working in independent and totally decoupled silos. We like to be around. We like to see each other face to face. We like to discuss the solutions that we're planning. But yeah, I mean, as you said it, the team is one of the most important parts of building a company. I've been teaching at the university for over 10 years now. This year is going to be the 10th year that I teach software architecture, and I built a company, and I've been working in the software development industry for over 12 years now. So when it comes to meeting people, meeting developers, I have had many opportunities to do so inside the communities, inside meetups, events, university, my work, etc. So we are lucky that we have access to top talent here locally.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I feel like Latin America in general, and also Uruguay. Maybe I'm trying to put my country like on top, but
You're a little biased, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. But we have great talent here, and it's cool that it continues that way. So, but yeah, that's a separate conversation, because we can really talk about a lot of topics on the why that happened. But yeah, I mean that I was going to ask you also the fact that now the software development is changing, and especially for a startup, someone that is creating the product for the first time, there are new ways to approach it, mainly because of AI. So was there any impact that you noticed on building this new product in Centinel, that with the help of AI was easier, or the approach was different in a way? How do you feel about AI in creating new products, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, no doubt that AI has helped us tremendously in building the product from scratch. As a matter of fact, when we started building Sentinel, we already had these tools available, like
Right.
Cloud Code, like Codex, like Anti-Gravity from Google. These tools were already there for us to leverage, for us to use. So when we started building Sentinel, we started building it with these tools from the very beginning. It helped us a lot. We were able to make tremendous amount of progress in a very short period of time. So definitely without these AI tools, we wouldn't have been able to move as fast as we are moving right now. For us, it's very important to not lose quality in moving fast. And I believe that AI has allowed us to do so, has allowed us to move fast without losing quality. You still need developers, you still need expertise, you still need code reviews, you still need a lot of things that were already happening before AI, but you pour them into your processes. You don't lose the good things, but you use AI to move faster. So that's what we're doing right now. I would say that, the very first lines of code that are part of Sentinel, we were already using AI to build it. So that's a great advantage. And I would say that made the product be what it is now. After 9 months, we have a product it's currently used by enterprise grade companies across multiple countries, with scalability in mind, with a lot of very complex integrations, very complex features. And without AI, I would say that maybe 2 or 3 years ago would have taken us 3-4 times more time to build at a
Right.
minimum.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, this is something that is really happening really fast in the industry. We are also experimenting and working with several projects with the help of AI. I mean, maybe we can deep dive a little bit more for the audience, but do you feel like your development workflow or the software development life cycle of the team is driven by AI, and how do you feel that is happening? I mean, are they really coding by hand nowadays or not? Right?
I think that most of the engineers that I've spoken with that use AI to develop, they don't code by hand anymore. That doesn't mean you don't look at the code that the AI is generating. That doesn't mean that you avoid manual code reviews when you see the code that the AI generated. But yeah, it's much faster to prompt what you're trying to do other than build it by hand. So I would say that it's been a while now since the last time that I wrote code by hand. But I'm still familiar with the code that the AI generates. I still correct it all the time about where do I want to go to. And sometimes the path that the AI takes or the routes that the AI want to take are not the best. So you need to learn a whole new paradigm, a whole new way of developing software, which is based on prompts. And there are many tools that you can use in order to make your life easier. Not only the agents that you use in order to code, and the models and the tools such as Cloud Code or Codex, but I mean more of that. I mean skills, agents, and other things that would allow you to move not only faster, I would say, but with more confidence. For example, one thing that I always do is I ask the AI to ask as many clarifying questions as possible. And while doing so, you give the AI more context about what you're trying to do, what you're trying to build, what you're trying to fix, and whatnot. So I would believe that the more context that the AI has about your product, about your code, about what you're trying to do, the better. So ask the AI to ask you as many questions as possible, to clarify doubts, to make the AI not assume what you want to do, and make sure that it understands where you want to go.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I feel like for developers that were here for a long time, it's a tool that certainly can increase our efficiency as a developer. But how do you feel about new developers that are that are studying right now in the university. Maybe you can also give us our insights from being a teacher at the university. How do you feel that it's impacting their own development skills, right? That they are maybe entering into a market where they are by default coding with AI, right?
No, absolutely. That's a great question. I think, for a developer, if they want to really be a good developer, a good engineer, a good technical resource for a company, I think that context is very important. And I think that when I say context, I mean everything that surrounds the code itself. Writing code, is right now with AI a commodity. Anybody can write code. Any non-technical person can go to a platform like Lovable, like Bolt, like Cloud Code, like V0, and with prompts, create something, create a website, create a web app, create a mobile app. They can do that. So what sets us apart from somebody non-technical when it comes to prompting? I believe is the context. I think that it's very important that we know how a database works, how authentication works. I believe that it's very important for us to know how to implement security in a good practice. I believe it's very important to understand how does scalability work, what makes a software being able to scale, what's the difference in building software that's going to be used by 5 users or by 5,000 users. How do you make it so that the software doesn't fall apart when it's being charged with thousands of requests at the same time, or by malicious users? How do you handle that, right? The information privacy is really important, and all of those things because of the context. One of the subjects that I teach, software architecture, is very important. How to make your software available to your users, how to make your software more testable, interoperability, etc., etc. So I would say that for new developers, for new software engineers, it's not going to be all about the code that you write. It's going to be more about the context that surrounds that code. And that's going to be the thing that will set you apart from any non-technical person prompting to an AI and a software engineer that knows what it's doing. I think from an academic point of view, it's going to be still important to understand how to write code and how the code works. What is a function? What is a variable? What is a parameter? It's going to be very hard for you to build a product that has a lot of quality if you don't know those premises. So that's going to be important. The same way that we studied things, Jan, and it, that don't necessarily apply to day-to-day work, because we had subjects in the university that were like, okay, how does an operating system works? How does that a pointer in memory work? How does how were the first programming languages working? Assembly, moving.
Something I'm thinking about.
The age a piece of memory be. So all of the things that we learned at the university, right? That is technology from 15, 20 years ago. Was it important back then to learn it? Well, it gave us context. We don't use it every day, but it gave us the context that allowed us to understand what was happening. So I think, as technology advances, as technology progresses, even though we are not going to be writing code by hand, the context is going to be important.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I mean, there is this common understanding that the developer is becoming more an architect that manages the whole architecture instead of like building the actual code. And I feel like the great possibility here is that you are not so limited because of the time that it took to write the code, but you can actually put more emphasis to these things that are equally important to a product, like security, scalability, and maybe you can think about those before than you were used to, because maybe in the old days, 2 years ago, maybe you were more focused on building the product in terms of coding, the features, and you had no time to, for example, put other types of activities regarding quality or security or non-functional requirements. And maybe that's something that again, it's more like the coding is something, a commodity. So maybe the advantage is that you now have the time to pull out all of the things that are really important. So yeah, I think that one of the things that I wanted to ask you as well is regarding what it means to for you. We know that the product you're building also uses AI, right? And you're using AI in a field that normally the things that are happening are really deterministic. I mean, accountability, right, is something that accountants is something that it has to be like it has a result that is a number, right? So combining this with something that is non-deterministic as AI, what are your thoughts here, and how you can measure the success of the product, building it with AI, right?
No, that's a great question. So I think, yeah, you said it. Accounting is very deterministic. Accounting is a set of rules that something that happens in X, supplier has to go to Y accounting, the chart of accounts that has to go to Z, tax level or whatever. So yeah, I mean, the processes are definitely deterministic. I think there are many things that we are doing with AI that allow us to add value to those processes. So first and foremost, we have, as I said before, we have different models. We have one accounting model that allows you to, the backbone of our projects, let's put it this way, is connecting to the ERP, right? So we allow to automate a lot of different processes that were traditionally done manually by the accountants. And we also help mitigate the risk of introducing errors done by humans into your accounting files. And we do that by making it easier to allow the inflow and outflow of information to and from the ERP. So one of the things that we do with AI is first, we automate a lot of processes. So when invoices come, for instance, we assign them to the correct suppliers, we assign them to the correct tax options, we assign them to the correct accounts in the chart of account, to the expenses account and whatnot. So we do all of that by the help of the AI, by understanding how is the accounting structure and accounting rules of the country that our clients are operating in. So we understand and we are trained by the accounting rules of those countries. Then we understand and we train Centinel to be able to process your accounting rules and your accounting information. And then we basically cross all the lines together. And we also check your journal entries. We make sure that there are no errors that have been pushed to the ERP, and we are proactive in terms of how we correct those errors. So we do all of that by leveraging AI. I know if somebody who's not an accountant is listening to right now, there are a lot of concepts, a lot of accounting concepts that you might not be able to understand or to grasp. But let me put it this way. Accounting is a process that is done by accountants that take a lot of time, a lot of effort, and most of the time and effort it takes, not all of it, but most of the time and effort it takes are going to be manual things, are going to be mundane things, are going to be things that are wholly operational. They don't add a lot of value when it comes to strategy. Accountants, and especially good accountants, can add tremendous amount of value in the strategy of a company when it comes to accounting. But they waste a lot of time doing manual things that don't add a lot of value. And those things are the ones that we're trying to, delegate to the AI to make sure that accountants focus on what's important and not on mundane and tedious manual processes. And then obviously, again, as I said before, mitigate the risk of introducing errors into those processes.
Right. It's like you're trying to automate what would be coding for accountants, right? It's been like writing code for developers, but for the different field. So maybe they become like more architects in their daily basis.
I like that actually. I didn't think about it that way, but now that you said it, I like the concept of it's a comparison between both worlds. So yeah, I mean, in a way, you can think about it like that. In a way, we're trying to save a bunch of time to accountants, and we're trying to make sure that they avoid making mistakes and they get the most out of their time. And that's what AI is doing for us developers. So in a way, yeah, it's I would say it's very similar.
Awesome. So, okay, maybe just going back to the questions that I prepared. Also, I wanted to ask you, how do you see the industry evolving? Because we are talking about AI, and AI is moving so fast. I imagine that when you started building the product that you're building with your team, there were some models, there were some standards. Maybe we didn't have skills or different things that we have available right now, and the industry is evolving so much. So my question will be like, how do you feel about this in the next years, and especially how do you adapt in the product you are building, the new things that are that continue to appear, right?
Yeah, no, I love it, honestly. I love it when I see new stuff coming up, and when they are available, we're going to be the first ones to try it out. New models are going to be things that will help us tremendously, because new models with a better performance and with a greater speed are going to be providing us more value. And when I say us, I mean us as a product, because they're going to be providing more value to our clients. So definitely when new models are available, or when new skills are available and whatnot, we always try to incorporate those things into our processes, into our products, to make it better. For instance, since last week we have this new Gemini 3.5 Flash model, and we have tried it, and it's providing already better results than what we have with Gemini 3.0 Flash. So that's just one example. And then obviously, when we started our product, we started Centinel with using, for instance, Gemini 2.5 Flash. And when 3.0 Flash came, we tried it. We saw that the results were giving much better yields. So we migrated, and that's in a span of maybe a couple days. So it's amazing to see all of these new models showing up, all of these new models being available to us developers, so we can try, so we can use. And obviously, I would say that what we try to do here at Centinel is using a combination of models from different companies depending on our needs. So we have the latest models of Anthropic. We are using Opus 4.7. We are using Sonnet. We are using Haiku. When it comes to GPT, we are using 5.5. And we are using the Gemini models as well, because maybe there are processes that we really need the power and really need the accuracy of the model. So we use the Pro family. But then maybe when we try to prioritize speed over performance, a Flash model is going to be a good balance. And when we need to do things that are going to be very easy for a model to figure out, and we prioritize cost and speed over anything, maybe the Flash Lite models are going to be more than enough to handle those cases. So having a big pool of options is always nice, and it will always provide us the flexibility to pick the one that works the best in different scenarios.
Of course, yeah. I mean, there are so many techniques nowadays, and it's kind of similar how the things that are constantly appearing, like, are helping developers to create products, but also it's really similar what you need to apply if you build a product that is using AI as the core. So my question would be like, what are the things that you value the most in terms of the different techniques that apply to your product, such as, for example, prompt engineering, or maybe you have like the possibility to train your own model, or maybe you have I don't know, like embeddings, RAG, different things that you can put in your product. Of course, there's always the need to evaluate what is the best thing. You already mentioned that maybe using a cheaper model for different tasks might be better, because if not, it might be overkilling. But tell us about like more maybe the strategies or the process that you are researching, maybe as part of the development of the product, right?
Sure, yeah. I would say that one of the things that we added that made a very big impact in how our product works and how accurate is your product when doing many things, many different processes, is something that you already mentioned, is RAG with vector embeddings. Let me give you an example. When we receive invoices from certain suppliers or certain clients, right? And we need to match them to existing suppliers or existing clients that we have in the ERP. They might not match exactly, right? Or when we need to match transactions that are coming from a bank to a certain contact or a certain client or supplier, they might not match exactly. Let me give you an example. So imagine that you are an Amazon client and you're using AWS for your product, and then you get billed by AWS every month. When you see a transaction coming from your bank account to AWS, that transaction might have a description or a title or whatever, and maybe the description is not very descriptive. Maybe it says like Amazon, or maybe it says Amazon Web Services, or maybe it says AWS, or maybe it says AMZW. You don't really know what you're going to expect. So how do you match that transaction with a client that you have in your ERP that maybe it's called Amazon, right? And that's where you can go two different ways. One is with an LLM. You can pass the description of that transaction to your LLM, and then you can pass the list of clients that you have, and you ask the LLM, hey, match this transaction to one of these clients. It's going to work? Yes, it's going to work. But the expense of what? It's going to be, think about it when you have like 10,000 transactions and then you have like, other 10,000 clients. It's not scalable, right? So you need a solution that would allow you to match a description with a contact that you have in your database that's going to be scalable. And LLMs, even though they might work, they're not going to be scalable. You are going to be spending a ton of money and you're going to waste a lot of time. So a perfect solution for that is RAG with vector embeddings. You can use a vector embedding model to search for proximity, right? And what do? You take the name of your contact, you generate an embedding for that name, you save it in your database, and when the transaction comes, you generate an embedding of the description of the transaction and match it to the embeddings of a database. And then they're going to match based on proximity. And an embedding model would be intelligent enough to understand that AWS matches Amazon, right? Because even though the letters don't match the string, it will match based on proximity. So that's an example of how you can achieve something with vector embeddings and RAG. And obviously, it's going to be a fraction of the cost of calling an LLM, right? So,
right. I think it's very cool because nowadays there are a lot of frameworks, technologies that enable us to create this type of use cases that, like maybe a few years ago, it was really hard, the barrier to, because even for a regular developer, it's something that it can create really in a simple way. You don't require to be like a data science right now, and you can combine all of the cool concepts. So I think that's really cool that that you are also putting all of these pieces as part of the product, and it might be really great to build that technology. So we are kind of like in the ending of the interview. So I wanted to ask you like my last questions, but maybe one of the things that I'm thinking is what do you suggest to, because we were talking about like a lot of regarding AI, how this impact to a developer, maybe how it impact the software development lifecycle in building a product nowadays. But what is your suggestion, recommendation to new developers that are starting in a new startup, in a new job, and they are like overwhelmed because of so much things that you can do right now with the help of AI as well. How do you feel about that, and what are your suggestions of new developers, right?
Yeah, I would say that there are two things that come to my mind in terms of like, what would I do if I were in that position? If I were a junior developer in the university, maybe, or learning, and there are two things that I would do. So the first one is pretty obvious. The first one is learn, and the second one is show what you're capable of doing. Showing what you're capable of doing only comes after learning how to do it. How do you learn? By doing. So do as many things as possible. And with this in this moment in time that we are right now, there hasn't been a better moment in time to build products and to build software. So learn as much as you can and learn by doing. Obviously, the things that you're going to learn in the university are going to help. They're going to provide the context that you need. They're going to be important. But by all means, learn by doing. Take Cloud Code, take Codex, take Anti-Gravity, build something. Think about what would you build for yourself, for your family, for your friends, for a business that you know, or just a project that allows you to do something for fun. But do something and do many things, not only one. I would do many different things. I would try to build many different products with different needs, with different features. So that's number one, learn and learn by doing. And number two would be what I said a couple minutes ago, showcase what you're capable of doing. It doesn't only matter what you can do, but if you don't show it, then it's not gonna be reaching to the people that are important to reach. So if you want to get a job, you have to reach a person that's hiring. If you want to understand how the market works, broaden your network, meet new developers. It's very easy to stay at home and do nothing, but try to meet new people. Go to meetups, go to events, go to conferences, go to the university, talk to other developers, talk to your the other students, talk to your teachers, talk to your professors. Try to broaden your network, and then try to build a portfolio. Try to showcase what you're capable of doing. Obviously, after learning, right? But you learn by doing. So I would learn as much as possible. I would try to build as many products as possible. I would try to build a portfolio and showcase what I'm capable of doing, and I would try to make sure my network is as big as possible, meeting as many people as possible inside the industry.
I like that. I mean, I feel like there's, but being a new developer is kind of weird because maybe you don't face like writing code by hand, but maybe for the ones that are more old into the industry, I feel like there is this maybe bad situation where you lose one of your abilities that was writing code, but then you need to start using AI. But I feel like, as you said, it's a great time to be a developer because you're literally enabled to do a lot of things that were just maybe not impossible, but in your spare time were really hard to pull off because of the manual effort to involve. But in this case, I feel like if you always had an idea, it's the time to make it real, because now it's possible. So yeah, maybe as a last question and more regarding yourself, if you weren't like a CTO, what would you were doing right now, right?
That's a good question. So I mean, this is a little bit related to being a software developer, but one of the things that I always liked, other than building software or other than coding, was all of the design. So making sure I was capable of designing beautiful products. That
Like
was
UX
always
UI design, or do you refer like UX UI design or the software design?
the UX UI design. I would say that software design is part of being a developer, but the UX UI design is not necessarily something that developers do. But I think it's beautiful. I think it's very important, and I think that developers right now with tools like Claude Design or tools like Stitch by Google, they are able to design some stuff. But that's always been something that interests me: the design of beautiful interfaces, Right now I believe that a software developer should be like a full stack product person, not only developing code but also understanding the product from a stakeholders point of view, and making sure we can also design the product. So if I were not a CTO, I would be probably trying to study or to work on something related to UX UI design. But I would say that that's also related to software, so maybe I'm
you will stick in software, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, that's the only thing that I've studied, so I would need to think about it a little bit.
Okay. Nice. Okay, really nice to have you here in the third episode, Tomás. So yeah, thanks for coming, and hopefully this content reach our audience and can help. Okay, I don't know if you want to also say goodbye.
Yeah, no, it's been a pleasure. Whoever's watching and whoever reached this 47-minute mark, kudos to you and thank you. And do not hesitate to reach out if you need anything.
Okay, see you in the next one. Bye.
See you. Bye.